Hi, I'm Mario Guerra, the two-time former mayor of the great city of Downey, and we're here with my co-host, Eric Pierce, the editor of the Downey Patriot. And you're listening to Talking Downey with Mario
and Eric.
Eric, it's always good to see you. A lot of things going on in the city of Downey.
Yes,
and
sir.
A lot of turmoil and dissatisfaction, dysfunction. I don't know all the right words.
There's a lot going on in the city of Downey right now, and one hot topic issue is a new sports bar coming into the city, Ojos Locos. It's opening over on Firestone Boulevard, where the former Downeys used to be, and this is really controversial because of the attire of the waitresses. And we did have a photo up on the Downey Patriots website. But if you go on Instagram, look up Ojos Locos, you'll see what the attire is. But this has been a really big deal here in Downey.
It is very controversial, and I think because of how they're dressed, and we've always prided ourselves as a Downey city, as a family type orientated city. Something that's interesting too, I guess with a lot of people were doing the research, I guess the company has a reputation at the other places in Texas and so forth. There's a little bit of a criminal element is brought in, and there's some, factual cases of issues happening at these places. So.
Right. Yeah, so it's always a couple of, you're right, a couple of different issues. The city council is on record as opposing this restaurant, or at least the element that it brings. But the project was approved by the Planning Commission.
Right.
And so it's a go. Let me ask you this, Mario. When a project is approved by the Planning Commission, is it over, or is there an appeals process? Or what happens from there?
So it's interesting because we had a similar situation years before, and the city council, we did not have an avenue to be able to appeal it. It wasn't quite this bad. So we did pass an ordinance, and I remember working on it with former Mayor Alex Saab and the rest of the council. So we passed an ordinance that the city council can appeal any planning commission decision within 14 days. So we don't like a decision, we want it brought back to the city council. So city council has an authority to do that. So I always, with my planning commissioner, I used to always ask them, hey, what are your thoughts on this and so forth, after they're voting, or was this controversial, what did you think, and so forth. So then as a council member, I had an option to appeal it at any time.
Got it. Now, when this project goes before a planning commission, can a planning commission deny a project based on something such as the dress code? I mean, where does that come into play? How much leeway does the planning commission generally have?
There's certain things that the city staff has to bring as far as the finding and the status of that particular location. I've always laughed at that when we laugh that the city of Downey has 7 McDonald's, right? Because it's all about planning and zoning. 7 McDonald's. Well, the reason why we have 7 McDonald's is because if a location is zoned for fast food, city of Downey can't say we want an Arby's or a Taco Bell or a McDonald's. McDonald's has the right to, it's zoned that way, so they can come in and do that. And obviously it's always, what the clientele wants. McDonald's is not stupid. McDonald's would not build a 7th McDonald's if the city couldn't support it after 6, right? And we all think as residents, like, hey, there's enough McDonald's around. So the same principle applies here. If that location is zoned for a restaurant, so it was already a restaurant, so they can come in as long as they can prove it's a restaurant. Right. The one thing that's a little bit weird is because the city owns the parking lot in front, so the city had a little bit more say in that. So that's the one part. I don't know the details, but the answer is kind of. When they go to a planning commission, but for me as a planning commissioner or as a city council, don't ask me to vote on something if you're telling me I have to vote a certain way. So you can always say no.
Right, absolutely. So the city council did take some measures to try to, alleviate the controversy at Ojos Locos. They created a dress code for waiters and waitresses, and some of it I think is I think some of the details, but I think there can't be exposed chest 3 inches from the clavicle.
Yes, 3 inches on there. it's interesting. I listened to the discussion. Some people had good comments to say on it. I think Councilman Trujillo was concerned that this becomes the clothing police and so forth. I think it's 3 inches from your rear buttocks that the dress has to be, and 3 inches between that. It's in the city of Downey. It's already illegal. You can't reveal private parts. You can't reveal, parts of the chest and so forth. So it's already illegal because that makes it a strip club, which is not allowed in the city of Downey.
Right.
So this is kind of.
So to me, it raises more questions because one, you have the whole First Amendment issue, because can you even regulate? Can you regulate this kind of restaurant, especially retroactively? I mean, I don't know the answer. And the other question is, who's going to enforce it? I mean, who's going to go into the restaurant with a ruler or a tape measure and measure?
I know a lot of single 25-year-olds that would go in there and happily have the job as the clothing measuring police. And I'm being facetious. That's a terrible thing on there. We shouldn't, it shouldn't be exploited. But yeah, I mean, I'd say that facetiously. But I think that's the issue, and it's not only for them. How do you enforce that for other restaurants when? A young lady wears a little bit of cleavage or the midriff on there. It's, perfectly normal cheerleading looking outfit on there. Right. So I think that's going to be the issue. I'm not sticking up for Ojos Locos in any way, shape, or form because I didn't want that kind of establishment. And I think some of the issues, it's close to the schools, it's on a main street where more issues, there's a lot of different things that come into play here.
Right. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what develops. Councilman Margarita Grill is a very vocal opponent to this restaurant. I just don't know what the city can do at this point because it's moving along and the project is approved. Is there anything the city can do?
No, I wish they would have appealed the planning commission decision.
They didn't appeal it.
They didn't appeal it in time. So I think their options were limited, so that's how they went to that. And I think they've all been very vocal. Councilwoman Claudia Fermena and Mayor Blanca Pacheco have expressed their desires to do something about this because I think the residents are in an uproar because, again, how did this happen? How did this get done on here? So something is not right when something like this gets passed on there.
Right.
Or there should have been more or some public information about it because this crosses a line, at least what the company's history is, which of course the company's also threatened because this is their first one in California, threatened to sue in saying that this is totally different. This is a sports bar. We're keeping it this. The planning commission approval, the conditional use permit, the CUP, was approved for a DJ is the only live entertainment, so they're not going to do wet t-shirt contests and stuff.
Right.
So
yeah, I remember a few years ago, 6-7 years ago, when Club DB Lounge wanted to have go-go dancers in miniskirts, and that was controversial.
Yeah.
And in comparison, it's nothing now compared to what's going on.
I remember your headline, a no to go-go and the Downey Patriot. I remember that because that was the big thing, a no to go-go. But yeah, that was really controversial.
It seems tame.
This seems tame on there. Again, I think it's the company history, those photos. That company didn't do any justice on that. And of course, with so many different things, the women that were being exposed on that, I don't know. That's not the kind of business we want. But you're right, compared to go-go dancers and DB Lounge,
And big picture. I mean, it's not the business that we want, but it's the business that we're getting. And is it the business that we deserve? I mean, I don't know. Is that Downey's reputation now? As a city now that caters to bars and this type of clientele, I mean, I don't know. Maybe the answer is yes.
I sure hope not.
Yeah.
Okay, I hope that's not the best we have. And I understand, especially in downtown, we've transitioned. I look at some of our establishments we have, and I'm real proud of them. That we transformed the downtown district, into a lively place. Sometimes you become a victim of your own success too. You have issues, the parking lots in the street and crime and everything else on there. But I think the establishment at least that we have are trying and doing the best. And I feel safe here in the downtown. I don't know how late at night I would, but I feel safe in bringing my wife to some of the restaurants here in downtown.
Oh, sure, absolutely. We also have the Margarita restaurant that's still coming too over at the.
That one's kind of been under the radar with this, huh?
It has.
So
I don't know how they dress. I don't know. But.
well, you know what? You're the editor of the local paper on there, so maybe that's our next stop, and we'll let you know what the pictures look like from what is it called, the Margarita Grill or Margarita Maker or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, and that's coming in right next door to Sangsai Sushi, where the old hometown buffet was.
Mm-hmm.
So that's coming there. That seems a little bit. It is across the street from the school, but it's a little bit less worrisome. They're both on a main street. I haven't seen any pictures of scantily clad women like the Ojos Locos.
No.
So.
Well, we'll see. This issue isn't going away.
No.
And it's something that we're going to continue to talk about, and the Downey Patriot is going to continue to cover. So we're going to see how it goes.
Great. So listen, folks, we want to keep doing these short podcasts, single issue conversations, if you will, just to get it across what we think and what we've been hearing, and we're going to do them more regularly. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know how you feel about certain things and any topics that you'd like us to talk about. We're going to go back and do every other one, maybe the longer one when we talk about different subjects. The Downey history is important to us, and we're going to keep talking about it, how this became this, how this was named, a little bit of more, back information on there, but we welcome your input. So please look us up on there, comment on our Facebook, our podcast, our email, talkingdowney@gmail.com. And then Eric and I are very accessible, okay? Reach Eric at the Downey Patriot, and you can reach me here at any time. So thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it. Let us know your thoughts and your comments.
Bye, guys.
Take care.